You're very welcome to this short webinar. There will be an opportunity for questions at the end. You'll see hopefully a Q&A box where you can submit your questions and we'll try and answer them as we work our way through the presentation. To start off, I will just give an overview for those of you who are familiar or may not be familiar with ourselves, but LIA, we pride ourselves on being the Centre of Excellence for the education and development of finance professionals, offering QQI accredited courses. We are in existence for over 40 years, and we pride ourselves on raising the standards in the finance profession, and we've developed a suite of industry recognized part-time distance learning courses. We combine member-focused development with education programs to deliver qualifications that are accredited through a range of courses and supports for you as finance professionals. So it is important that you're not only getting the academic qualification, but you're also getting the practical skills that you can take into your profession. My name is Brian Dunphy, and I support those who are considering undertaking either the micro-credential courses or the postgraduate diploma in financial planning. And one of the benefits of being able to talk to those who are considering undertaking these programs is that I have also undertaken this journey previously. So I hold the RPA designation, which the one we're going to talk about today, and also I'm a certified financial planner professional. So when we're talking about these advanced qualifications and potentially for those who hold QFA, what potential route they might consider to further their education, the first option that they could consider is our micro-credential courses. And in the next few slides, I'll talk about them in a detail, in particular for the retirement planning advisor designation. But for those who are considering in the financial planning world, possibly dipping their toe in the water to enhance their knowledge in a particular area, the micro-credential courses that we offer that would be relevant to you would be investment management, which leads to the SIA designation, retirement planning, which leads to the RPA designation that we're going to speak about today, risk management and insurance planning, which leads to the FPRA designation, and tax and estate planning. You could also consider going down the route of undertaking the postgraduate diploma in financial planning, which is the gateway to the CFP designation. And the 4 micro-credential courses that I've mentioned that you can do on a standalone basis are part of the postgraduate diploma. There are 2 more modules within that that allow you to attain that full qualification and offers you the opportunity to go on and attain the CFP designation. So to start with regards to the route of micro-credential, for those of you who are hearing this word or this for the first time, micro-credential courses are short, focused learning programs, and they're designed to help those undertaking them gain specific skills or knowledge in a particular area. So for example, in the retirement planning module, it is specifically about advancing your technical knowledge in the retirement planning area. And our flexible micro-credential courses are delivered online, and each micro-credential consists of 1 module, making it a very compact yet impactful learning experience. And these courses are ideal for anyone who's looking to upskill, reskill, or deepen their expertise in that specific topic. These courses are also accredited by ATU Sligo, Atlantic Technological University, Sligo. So you also get a qualification through the micro-credential course route. So to look at the retirement planning module in particular, the RPA designation, which is awarded through the retirement planning module and the micro-credential course, it is designed for anyone who wants to take their pension and retirement planning knowledge beyond minimum competence. And it is certainly a recognized designation within the industry, and with a growing demand in this industry for professional financial advice in the retirement planning area, the retirement planning advisor is the one that stands out as that gold standard in this area. And this 1 module course is definitely essential learning for anyone who is advising clients on pension products or any aspect of their retirement planning journey. Now, we're quite fortunate this morning to have the lecturer for this course joining us on the call, and I will invite James to contribute towards the end of this to give his insight into what you will learn. But from my practical view and from my experience of having undertaken this course, I certainly would have benefited from the following, that I would certainly have broadened my knowledge in relation to evaluating the steps involved in making a personal recommendation to a client in relation to their retirement funding needs. I'd certainly have a better understanding of the client's entitlements, rates of payments, and the taxation of the state pension contributory and non-contributory, which is important when you're designing a financial plan for those who are working towards their retirement. So it really broadened your technical knowledge. It certainly will enhance your ability to appraise and compare the different pension products, including retirement provision options for sole traders, partnerships, directors, and employees. And you'll be able to compare different methods of providing death and disability cover in conjunction with retirement funding, which again, you're mitigating risk within somebody's financial plan, and you're ensuring that the retirement plan can also protect them in the event of death or illness. And finally, you'll be able to assess the main investment asset classes and explain optimization of returns, the potential benefits of rebalancing, and the various default strategies employed within various retirement funding arrangements. So they're just certain pieces of technical knowledge that, from my experience, broadened my ability to be a better retirement planning advisor. When it comes to you thinking about undertaking this course, these are the key things you need to take on board. The course commences in February and runs to May, and it's delivered over 12 weeks. And those undertaking the program are committing to attending one live lecture per week. And those lectures are delivered online on a Wednesday night, commencing on the 5th of February. And the duration of the lectures are for 2.5 hours. As I said, they commence on the 5th of February. And what you need to look at is mapping out your 12 weeks and being structured in a way where you're maximizing the benefit of those lectures, because that's your opportunity to get the insight of the tuition from an academic and somebody who's really experienced in this area and on the topics that you're studying. So in conjunction with the actual lectures, you will have a syllabus and a textbook, but the benefit of those lectures is that's going to bring the whole content to life. And certainly you're going to get insights into the technical aspects of this is why we're studying certain parts of the syllabus, and it will bring you on a journey. It's also important to be cognizant of that the course is assessed in two ways. There's continuous assessment throughout those 12 weeks. So in weeks 4 and 8, instead of a class, you would have an assessment. And both of those assessments are worth 25% each. And then on the 24th of May, you have a final assessment, and that exam is worth 50%. Now, when I was undertaking this course and I'm looking at my work-life balance and my ability to take on a 12-week program, one of the key things that I learned was the value of the continuous assessment and to have a very structured approach to maximizing the opportunity that's available from them. So if I was looking at this again and thinking in week 4, I've got an exam, I would really have to have a very positive mindset to say, look, after 3 weeks, I'm going to get an exam on the content that's been delivered over the first 3 weeks. So if I get myself in order from the start and stay on top of this, I have a very good opportunity of doing well very early on and attaining quite a significant amount of marks from the 25% available. I then have another assessment 4 weeks later. So if I get myself into a good operating rhythm and I'm on top of the material week on week, I'm giving myself a really good chance of getting the result that I deserve for the work that I'm putting in. I should have said from the outset that the overall pass mark for this for the module is 40%. So when you add up the 25% available in both the in-class assessments, if you actually do really well, you can attain your 40% through them, or you can get as close to the pass mark through those continuous assessments and then give yourself a really good opportunity of doing well in the final assessment on the 24th of May. The enrollment deadline for this next variation of the program starting in February is the 24th of January 2025. And I would encourage anybody who's thinking about taking on this short micro-credential course, that I would go ahead and enroll as soon as I've decided I'm going to do this, and get yourself into the mindset of, I need to get a good operating rhythm. I need to get a good structure. I need to make sure that my Wednesday nights are clear. And then I need to be prepared week on week. And the approach I took was I became aware that the material that the lecturer was going to cover every week was available to me a week in advance, or a few days at least in advance of the lecture. So I would try and find some time in advance of the lecture to read the material that's going to be covered, because it's far easier to listen than to read and listen at the same time. You take on a lot more content when you've already read the material and you're listening to the lecturer to explain the content that you've read. So that certainly worked for me. And all that meant was, in my working cycle of week on week, I would just need to find an hour or two in advance of the lecture during that week to read the material. I would then attend the lecture and get great value from it, and certainly be able to make sense of some of the content that I might have struggled with when I was reading it, by listening to the lecturer explain in good detail. And then my approach was, any of the additional work that was given to me after the lecture, I would try and do that as early as possible after the lecture. And in some evenings, I would have cleared my diary and said, look, while I'm studying tonight, I'll take a break, but I'll go back and do the work, because the knowledge is fresh in my mind. And that allowed me to move on to the next cycle of the following week, get prepared and get into the same rhythm. And it really gives you a good opportunity of making sure you're on top of the material, so that when you come to week 4 and you're preparing for your first exam, you actually are very familiar with the content, and you're on top of it from day one, and you get a really good chance of doing really well in the assessments. Now I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of my thoughts before I bring James in. But James Skehan is the lecturer for this course, and has been delivering it for a number of years. And we're very fortunate to have somebody who is a former practitioner with over 40 years specific retirement planning experience. And James's experience is that he was the head of pensions with New Ireland Assurance for 20 years, and then headed up the trustee subsidiary company of New Ireland for more than a decade. And he currently acts as an independent professional trustee and advises employers and trustees on pension matters. And my, again, personal insights into this is that James brings this course to life, and brings into the discussion what's next for Ireland when it comes to retirement planning, and certainly has his finger on the pulse when it comes to the various topical issues that we would all be encountering in our professional lives, and you want to be learning when you're studying this course. So I'm very fortunate James has made himself available to us this morning. So I'm going to ask him to give his thoughts on what a student might experience over the 12 weeks, and then also share his past experiences of delivering this course. James, hopefully you're still with us on the call.
Yeah, I am. Good morning, everybody. Really delighted to be able to participate in this webinar and to give my thoughts on the course. I think the one central theme throughout the course is change. Over the last 4 years, there's been more change in the pensions industry compared to the 40 years that I've been working in the industry. And one of the biggest challenges that I have for every semester is to update the slides and update the textbook to reflect, what's just happened. At the moment, I'm updating the textbook to take into account, for instance, the details of the Finance Act 2024, because that's going to have a major bearing on whether an individual goes down the PRSA route or the occupational pension scheme route in terms of pension funding. I'd like to go back and just stress the significance of the continuous assessment. From marking the papers, it's very clear it's very clear to students that have actually put the effort in and have scored well in the continuous assessments. And as has been mentioned, the assessments carry 25% of the marks. So my strong advice is get stuck in from the very start. Attend as many lectures as you possibly can, because the idea of the lectures is to bring the textbook to life. And one of the best things that I've found and experienced with the lectures is the participation. Um, one of the great things as well is that you can ask a question that goes to everybody, or if you're a bit unsure about the question, you can ask the question directly to me, and I can answer it without giving out your name, which is a great help for people that might be unsure of a certain question. There is no such thing as a silly question, and really the lectures work best of all when people participate. Um, we've just finished the latest course, and they'll be sitting for a final exam now in a couple of weeks. And we had, I think it was over 110 students attending the lectures, and it really was a great experience. But to me, the big lesson is get started at the very start. It is a 12-week commitment. It is a level 9 course, but the knowledge you will gain and the practical knowledge you gain from the lectures is really invaluable.
Brilliant to hear, James. And James, I know we know each other a number of years now, having been a student. I certainly, and I speak to students who have graduated your course over the years, and it is a trend that, and this is my experience, is that I maximize the opportunity of those continuous assessments, and it gave me great relief and comfort to know that the actual academic piece and passing the course became easier because I had bagged so many marks that were available to me in those assessments, because you stayed on top of the material from the start, you really put the work in. But then I started to get real value from the course in the latter weeks because I was more relaxed. I really started to feel the actual passing of the course is achievable, and I'm now getting value that I'm actually putting into practice day in, day out, week on week. You don't have to wait for 12 weeks to say I've learned something new here. You're learning every week, and you can apply it into your job the following morning, which is an incredible thing to take from a course like this. And as well as giving yourself the best chance of getting the result you deserve, as long as you stay on top of it from the start, you'll start to really get the value of the actual reason you're doing this course, is to make you a better financial planner and a retirement planning advisor. Would that be similar experience?
No, absolutely. And as well as that, by putting the effort in to the continuous assessments will actually give you the confidence. You'll actually grow in confidence as the weeks pass by. And, we start off dealing with the state pension. And the good thing about the state pension is that I qualified for it early in the year. So I actually went through the whole application process. I'm now in receipt of the state pension. So, I can give first-hand experience of that. We then talk about pension provision for the different types of individuals, whether they're private sector or public sector. I do a fair bit of detail on defined benefit schemes, because whilst students mightn't handle defined benefit schemes day to day, they will inevitably come across individual clients who are members of defined benefit schemes, either active members or deferred members. And to me, that's one of the big learning curves within the whole program. The new pension regulations, the likes of IORP2, the Pension Authority Code of Practice, big emphasis on that, because that is shaping the current and future pension landscape. And we've seen a major shift away from standalone schemes and into master trusts. We've seen PRSAs become centre stage, particularly for business owners. And the pension simplification program from the government that started a couple of years ago is really starting to gather pace. So, it is absolutely a very, very live program dealing with what's happening in the industry now and what's going to happen in the industry going forward.
It's brilliant to hear all your insights into having delivered this course for so long. It's great to even hear that you're talking about what's relevant now and you're getting excited about the next challenge. There's one thing you touched on about attending the lectures live. I certainly would echo that you get great value from being part of a class where you're going to have such a broad level of experience in that classroom. You'll have those who are new to the industry, and you'll have those who are very, very experienced, but we're all learning the same journey together, and asking the questions to you, getting to answer them to all of the class is very, very relevant and very, very beneficial. But there's also a very useful thing to know about the lectures, is that they are recorded. And I found them very, very useful from a revision point of view. It's a new learning experience. Whereas I might have learned, I might have been studying it might have been 15 years before I studied again, but back then it would have been you had to read your textbook, you had to study. There was no resources such as recordings. Now, having recordings available to you, and if there's a specific topic that you feel you'd like to go back over, it's there for you to access, and it's there for you for the full duration of your course. And they are very, very useful when it comes to revision for those assessments, as they will help you with your learning journey. I'm going to just move on now and just touch on the other route that this course would be relevant and part of is for those in James's class. There will be an element of or a large cohort of the students who are doing this module as part of their journey to the postgraduate diploma in financial planning. So this module is one of 6 within the postgraduate diploma in financial planning, and that program is, you know, the route to the certified financial planner designation. It has been designed in conjunction with leading advisors and industry experts. So James would have contributed to the overall journey of advisors within the postgraduate diploma and the learnings that they need to take from it to be able to take themselves forward for the CFP exam and designation. And it will take your knowledge by undertaking the full program to the highest international standards in financial planning. And those undertaking the journey to CFP will undertake 6 modules in total, one of them being the retirement planning one that we've spoken about in this webinar. And all of the modules are delivered by online evening lectures, and they're all from 6 to 8:30 on a specific night. So there will be no 2 modules being undertaken on the same night during any given week. So students can potentially undertake more than one module at a time. But all of the modules are assessed exactly the same way as we've spoken about: continuous assessment at an end of module exam. And just to give you a flavor of where the retirement planning fits in, the program consists of 6 modules, and within that you have principles and practices of financial planning, risk management and insurance planning, which leads to the financial planning risk advisor designation, tax and estate planning, investment management that leads to the specialist investment advisor designation, retirement planning, which is the one we spoke about today, which leads to the retirement planning advisor designation. And then finally, the 6th module is integrated personal financial planning. Now, why I've mapped out the order in which the modules ideally would be undertaken is you can take them in the order of 1 to 6, or you can decide to do them in whatever order you wish, apart from module 6, as you can't undertake that one unless you've undertaken all the others, or you are currently doing your last module alongside that last one. And as I said, the retirement planning advisor designation is available through the retirement planning module, and that module is always available in next semester, which is February to May, but it's also available from September to December each year. So there are 2 opportunities each year to undertake the retirement planning module, but the next intake is to start in February, and enrollment is now open. But the overall program of the postgraduate diploma is ideal for individuals working in the financial planning and wealth management industry. And to meet the educational requirements to go on and do the CFP exam, individuals must hold both the QFA designation and have completed the postgraduate diploma in financial planning, and also then have 3 years relevant financial planning practitioner experience. And at present, there's approximately 192,000 CFP professionals in 27 countries around the world, and approximately 1,000 of them are in Ireland. So it's a growing number in Ireland, but you're joining a vast wide membership across the world of 192,000 CFPs, but only at the moment there's 1,000 in Ireland. And it is without doubt a journey that I would never look back on and think that was not the best decision I ever made. It is actually, from a financial planning and career perspective, one of the best journeys and the best learning experiences that I've ever done. We briefly have some time for some questions. I see there's a question: can the RPA be done standalone and then apply to do the CFP programs at a later stage? Absolutely. That's the idea of the micro-credential courses. Not everybody will decide that they wish to go on the full postgraduate diploma journey from the outset, but they may wish to do one module and then feel perhaps they might do another micro-credential course to enhance their knowledge in that area. You can at any stage then decide, I wish to go on and complete the postgraduate diploma, and the modules that you would have completed will be accredited to you for the full postgraduate diploma. So you will effectively be exempt those modules within the overall program because you've already completed them. Another question from somebody on the call: will the RPA book be posted out, or will it have to be printed off online? No, we do print the book, and you do get the book posted out to you in advance of starting the course. So once you're enrolled, I think it's about 2 weeks before the course commences, you will receive your textbook in the post, and that gives you the opportunity to get started from then to start reading the syllabus. But then you will also get material week on week from the lecturer in advance of the lectures for, to expand on the content in the book and what he's going to cover off in the classes.
And there's also the study hub.
There's also online resources available to you that you will have access to material that James will provide within the study hub, and that's also where the recordings of the lectures will be for you to play back and have available to you. One other question just popped in: how are the exams conducted? The exams are all conducted online, so there's no physical aspect to the course at all. You actually undertake your exams invigilated through webcam, and they're all done via proctor invigilation. So you can do your exams from anywhere in the world. In fact, I would have, when I studied, I would have had a couple of classmates who were actually in Australia at the time of undertaking some of their modules. So it is possible to study and undertake your courses. What you will need is, for the exams, you will need a stable broadband connection and a laptop with a webcam for you to be able to be invigilated and observed throughout the exam. James, this is one for you. Are there sample questions, exam papers to aid study?
Yes, there are. There's a sample paper for each of the continuous assessments, and there's a sample paper for the final exam.
Excellent. And from, again, my experience, they're very useful for you to get used to the style of question, and in particular, just what the examiner is looking for, what James is looking for in the answers. To get an understanding of these are discussions, sometimes topics and discuss questions, and to see what relevant points and the knowledge that you'll need to back up your argument for whatever topic's been assessed.
Yeah, and a change we've made just in the most recent semester is that originally for continuous assessment 1 and 2, there was 2 questions and you had to answer both of them. To give a little bit of fairness, I suppose, to students, we now have for continuous assessment 1 and 2, 3 questions of which you have to answer 2. And then in the final exam, there's 4 questions of which you have to answer 3.
You couldn't have done that when I was studying it. No, that's even better. That's brilliant. So look, there's no agenda here to make the course, unattainable. That's what I would say. You put the work in, you will be successful, and you will also definitely walk away with the knowledge you want to be able to apply it into your career. I think that's all the questions. What I will just pop up on screen is if anybody wants any further information or to discuss any aspect of the micro-credential courses or the postgraduate diploma in financial planning, or just even have a chat with me about, what is it like to have the work-life balance. I don't mind sharing my experience. I can tell you, when I undertook most of these modules, I was managing 2 divisions within a bank. I was trying to balance personal commitments, but it was still manageable. What I learned very much, one of the new skills I got from the course is being organized, and that's as invaluable as anything. So organization and discipline are key. And I certainly have taken that into my career thereafter, but it certainly is manageable, and you need to just map out your 12 weeks. And in fact, I would map it out as 4-week tranches, especially when James is telling you we've got exams in weeks 4, 8. If you do it in 4-week cycle, you really will get your way through it very quickly and see that it's not a massive commitment. It's not 12 months of your life, it's 12 weeks, and it is very doable. But feel free to reach out to me. You have my contact details there. You can get in touch with us through our website or directly by email, or you have my phone number there. And I'll be happy to chat with anybody about the program. So last thing to do is to thank you all for joining us today, and James in particular for taking the time to have a chat with us. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who are thinking about enrolling, I would encourage you to just go ahead and make that commitment and get your journey started. It will be something you will not regret, and wish you the best of luck with your studies. Thanks a million.